of course, the facts on the ground, as they say, make that impossible if we're going to do a justice to this show. And joining us now is Mississippi Senator Roger Wicker, a Republican, of course. And Senator, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
Well, it's my pleasure. All right, so let's talk about the president's speech yesterday. You know, I got to tell you, and maybe I'm just joining the chorus here, but when you stop and think about what he was saying or telling us, first of all, he played on our sympathies. Look at the tape. Just look at the tape of the dead children. That doesn't present proof. That doesn't give a national security interest. That's sympathy, and that's tugging at the heartstrings. Were you struck by that in the first place?
Well, it's hard not to be struck by that. There's no question about it. The question then becomes, what's the best approach to actually do something about it? And I think the collective conclusion of the American people before and after the speech is that the president's plan is not a workable solution.
Yeah,
but
what
yes,
is his plan?
We're very sympathetic with families being killed and innocents, particularly children who can't be.
Sure, no, absolutely. But what is his plan?
Well, right now, there's a thin thread of a hope of a diplomatic solution involving Bashar Assad, who up until 48 hours ago denied that he had chemical weapons, now being willing to admit that they're there, tell precisely where they are, and turn them over, involving the good faith and good offices of none other than Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia. So it's a thin hope. It's something that we have an obligation, I think, to pursue, but it is not likely to happen in a war zone where there is a shooting war going on all over the country of Syria. How on earth are neutral and detached United Nations representatives going to go in and secure chemical weapons, identify them, and receive them fully?
And Senator, it also begs the question: why when Assad had warning of an impending attack, possible attack coming, wouldn't he have been moving these weapons to Hezbollah, to Iran, or to other places all along? I mean, how on earth could we ever assure ourselves that, okay, he's showing us all of his chemical weapons and he doesn't have any more? I mean, how can we assume that?
I think the Western intelligence, good point. The Western intelligence community has a good idea where most of them are. I'm not sure that members of the regime fully know where all of them are, and I can't believe he and his murderous brother would not have had some stashed away where only they were aware of them. So, very good point. Again, it's something we need to pursue, and our goal should be regime change and a negotiated settlement involving the moderate rebels and destruction and surrender of the chemical weapons. But it's going to be very hard to do, and doubly and triply hard in a time of active combat, not only in the countryside, but in the city of Damascus and the suburbs.
Do you
That's
think
not going to happen?
Do you think, Senator, that he changed any votes? I mean, if there was a vote taken today, would this pass the Senate, and do you believe it would pass the House?
I think public opinion is going to have to be moved first, and basically overnight. It may be. I've heard some people, the talking heads, say that maybe the president went from the low 30s to the high 30s. I think that's about as much of a bounce as he'll get. So he would have lost the vote decisively in the House, probably lost it in the Senate. I don't think he's made up that ground, but he, as presidents do, he was talking over the heads of Congress to the American people, and that's perfectly fine. I don't think he won them over last night. As a matter of fact, the more I've heard over the last 10 days, the less inclined I've been to have confidence in a vote that would bless this particular president's strategy.
Okay, and one final question. If a vote were to eventually be taken, if this does not pan out with Russia and Syria, and the vote is not there, do you believe he'll go ahead and do it anyway? And I mean,
we don't believe a vote will ever take place. I think this has given the president not only a timeout, but a way to avoid the embarrassing spectacle of the commander-in-chief being rebuffed on behalf of an overwhelming majority of the American people. I don't think a vote will occur. If circumstances change, if there's a new atrocity, who can say? Who can say what this administration would do? But it would not be outside the realm of possibility that the president simply go ahead with something limited and targeted. But I don't think we'll ever see a vote in the Senate.
Interesting. Senator, thank you so much.
Just my guess.
Well, no, hey, your guess is a very educated one, more educated than mine. Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time. Bye-bye.